Hello and welcome to another episode of Rico'S Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. So I just finished watching Pan to coincide with this Peter Pan week, I guess I'm doing. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. And for sure, I had some major issues with the plot. Now, because I am a Peter Pan fan, and because I've been watching all this Peter Pan stuff, like Hook and the Disney movies and fucking just um I guess look, I'm okay with certain liberties being taken. But and you could argue this is a prequel, but at the same time it really kind of fucks with the whole mythology. Peter Pan was he left our world so that he can because he overheard his mother and his father talking about what he was going to be when he grew up. And he didn't want to grow up because when you grow up, then you eventually have to die. That's why he ran away. In this movie Pan, they changed it to he is an orphan, dropped off at an orphanage when he's a baby, and his mother is a fairy and his dad is a human, or the other way around, or some stupid crazy shit. And it's set in World War II, which is kind of a weird decision because it's normally set like pre World War One, and timing is all kind of weird. So does that mean like the sequel? If there was going to be a sequel to this, it would be set in like the 60s, the 70s, or even modern day because what? So, first off, I mean, just visually, it was okay. It was very sparkly. It was very colorful, and it's surprising because the director of this is the guy who just did The Darkest Hour, Joe Wright. And Darkest Hour looks like a fantastic movie. It looks like he is a fantastic director, but maybe not for this genre. It just looked saturated with color, and at the same time, it was very hard to see what the fuck was going on. It was really hard to tell what was going on. Um, and so he gets kidnapped by the pirates along with some of his fellow orphans because the pirates are kidnapping kids to mine Pixum or something, which is basically like this crystallized thing for that fairies. It's like a gem that fairies harvest or something. They really didn't explain shit actually, and it's something to do with immortality and something to do with. I just they didn't. They kind of dropped the ball on a lot of shit. And the main antagonist is Blackbeard, the pirate, played by Hugh Jackman. And whoever decided to make this movie and not have Hugh Jackman play Captain Hook made a big mistake. Because as I'm watching, I'm like thinking this is like a proto Hook. But the character of Blackbeard itself is so ridiculous. Not to mention, he looks absolutely terrible. He's got this weird beehive hairdo. He's dressed all in black and he's got like weird feathers things sticking out. And he's pale as fuck and he's got this ridiculous set of facial hair. And his teeth, he's got these obviously fake huge teeth that just look stupid. But I kept thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? With the right costume, he would have made a really good Hook. Instead, Captain Hook is in this movie, and he's an American, and they sort of made him like cowboy-ish. Like he's got like a cowboy hat, and he's talking with a very thick, not y'all accent, but like a very rugged, like American, like just what? And the guy who plays Captain Hook just doesn't seem like this is going to be the adversary of Peter Pan. Not to mention that they're friends, and they it just you watch this and you're like, it would have been really fascinating to see the circumstances of they were friends at the beginning and then they weren't. And Rooney Mara plays Tiger Lily, and Rooney Mara, if you remember, is in the American remake of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and she was great in that. And she's fine in this. Like, the majority of the actors are fine. But Rooney Mara is also pale as fuck. And clearly is not a. I can't call them Native American because they're not in America. It's Native Neverlandian. She doesn't look uh, Indian. It's just. And even she, Rooney Mara, like I said, I totally regret being part of that side of the whitewashing controversy. I regret taking this role. Well, you should regret taking this role because this movie was not very good either. Um, Also, Smee is in it, but his name is like Smeagol. Like, not like Smeagol, like, yes, precious, but I want some. That, not that fucking Smeagol, like Sam Smeagol, but then he's called Smee by Hook. And then, like, Smee is, like, the one who, like, betrayed. It just. What is. Whoever took the just the literary source of Peter Pan and just said, fuck it. Like, I know Hook is taking that literary source and sort of saying fuck it, but they're really not. Because they're still keeping the original story intact, which is he was Peter Pan, he did see Wendy, he and Hook are enemies, blah blah blah, and then he grew up. He moved on, but then he came back, blah blah blah. This is just taking the mythos and rewriting the origin of Peter Pan, making him the chosen one. Like, I am so sick of of every origin of a movie just being the chosen one. Like, there doesn't need to be a fucking chosen one anymore. This is not a chosen. This movie is not the fucking chosen one. But again, visually it was fine, and Hugh Jackman was great because Hugh Jackman is always great. And I encourage him to be Captain Hook at some point. Like, if yes, it's kind of an obvious choice, but it would work really, really well. Another weird decision is that they were taking music and singing songs from from songs like from Nirvana. Like the intro to the Pirates and their mining thing, including Blackbeard by Hugh Jackman. They're singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and they're all and I kept thinking, like, are they doing Nirvana? Like, hello, 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 how, like, and I was like, that what? That, oh god, whoever made some weird decisions made some really bad weird decisions. Um, well, God, I just it didn't feel like this was Peter Pan, and whoever the kid who played Peter Pan, he was fine. He had the mischievous, like, wholeheartedness that sort of Peter Pan had. But I mean, you can't be too critical because this is like proto, pre-Hook, pre-Cap, Peter Pan. You could tell they were probably intending on making a sequel, but this was just not very good. Not for me. I did like the fact that they got the fucking fairies to actually, like, kick some ass. I thought that was pretty cool. It was like a whole army and swarms of them, like bees, just like knocking pirates away. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm actually okay with that. Not that it was cool. It just look it that felt closer to the mythos of Peter Pan than anything else. They had giant crocodiles and, like, what? They had mermaids that were all played by Cara Delevingne, And Cara Delevingne's another one that is just like you look at all these actors and you're like, yes, you are all actors. You want the work. You need the work. But at the time, Cara Delevingne, Amanda Seyfried, Hugh Jackman, and Rooney Mara were all like, we're doing fine. Do we really need to do this movie? And the movie could have been fine. It was just a literal adaptation of Peter Pan, which some people may be like, oh, it's boring. We already did it so many times. Yeah, but you wouldn't have to rewrite the whole fucking history. Don't go through that cliche of making the future enemies best friends. Like that's so boring. And it's totally unbelievable that Captain Hook and Peter Pan would be like best friends in the beginning. That makes no sense. Someone like Captain America and Bucky being best friends and then enemies, but then becoming close again, that's fine. Because he was brainwashed. So what? Captain Hook was brainwashed? Like, just this movie was just not very good. Is it a go and get it? Is it a go and see it? No. It is. I wouldn't even honestly. I had a feeling this was going to be a really bad movie before I even rented it. Like when it was renting at work, I'm like, really? Is this really good? And they're like, eh. So now that I've seen it, I don't. I will never have to see this again. It's just such a bizarre. I mean, the random Mary Martin Peter Pan stage thing that I saw last night somehow was better than this. So interpret that, figure that one out. But I will continue watching more Peter Pan shit and progressing through this. Let me know if you liked it. Did you guys like Pan? Cause and explain to me. You explain this shit to me. Why you liked it? Cause for the life of me, I can't. All right, on to the next random Peter Pan movie. Bye, guys.